Help. How do you define help? That is a very important question and probably something you need to define for yourself because most people think help is giving something to someone. Most of the time, when you give something to someone, it doesn't really help. I mean, it may help at a temporary for temporarily, but it does not help permanently. Help should be something permanent. It should be a permanent situation. And I only say that because most of the time, a lot of the time, the only time I get calls from family, friends, or whatever is when somebody needs help. And that help usually is about borrowing money. It's never about advice. It's always about borrowing money, borrowing money, which in most cases they can't pay back because they haven't solved the problem that led them to that help. So, I want to give you, do you give or do you teach? Do you give or do you teach? That is the question, which I think you should answer for yourself and for anybody who's asking for help. Should someone ask for help? Yes. What kind of help? Should it be a give help or should it be a teach help? And this is where I have to say a teach help is probably the most important, is the most important, probably is the most important, and is the most important. And I only say that for two different reasons. Because probably sometimes when a person just say they're usually on their game, they usually do things the right way, but for some reason or another, something unusual happens and they need help in which they can provide payment for that help back, especially if it has to do with money. But most of the time, that help is something for something that can't be repaid. This usually cause the loss of friendship or even companionship or whatever. So let's define help. Like I said, giving is a form of help, but it's a form of help that usually in relationships. Usually in relationships, you can give if in your mind you're looking, or in your mind you are looking not to receive it back, especially if there's no collateral, especially if you don't know this person, and or they have a reputation of always needing help but never paying back. You can give help as long as you give it in a fashion where it's not gonna hurt you, or emotionally you're not gonna let it affect you. But the best form of help is teaching help, and that's the kind of help most people don't want. Some people want, people who want to learn to stay on top of the game, or to build wealth, or to learn a certain trade. But that is, in my opinion, the best kind of help, teaching help. And let me give you this phrase: give a man a fish, give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day. Give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day. You get that? Teach him to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. Teach him to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. So, the best form of help, in my opinion, especially based on that quote, is the kind of help that teaches someone not to need help, or not to need help in a fashion which is going to take away from you. Teach them to help, and that could just mean just say two people are working the same job. I had a video on here where I talked about saving money, living off 70/30, the 70/30 rule, which is taught to me by Jim Rohn via audiobooks and looking at a lot of his seminars on video. We talked about the 30 rule, and that 70 was live off 70%, and that included entertainment, going out, taking trips, everything that has to do with enjoying life, and saving 30% being saved up for charities or tithes or church, or even if you save like just that 10% for in a fund to help family when needed, another 10% going into a retirement fund or IRA that's usually matched by a corporation, and the third 10% is money that you save to enter in some kind of business venture, even if it has to do with stocks or mutual funds, personally done by yourself. But help in that fashion is the better help. Teaching someone to do something, teaching someone about finance, especially like I was saying, two people working a job and one person do not know how to use money or the rules of money, the three rules. They know how to acquire it by working, but they don't know that they need to save it. They don't know that they need to invest it. So, and we'll go back to what I said about teaching somebody something. You should always start with what I said before, the trivium. And the trivium is grammar, the who, the what, the when, and the where. The who, the what, the when, and the where. That's number one, grammar. The number two, logic, the why. Excuse me. The why, the logic is the why they're doing something. And number three, rhetoric, how to do it, how to do it. So whenever you're teaching somebody something, never start with just how. Always start with grammar, who, what, when, where, logic, why, and rhetoric, how. Because using the trivium helps a person to understand why they need to do something, or in the sequence that I said, the who, what, when, where, and then the why, and then the how. Because without that, a lot of times people don't get it, or a lot of times they may listen just to get what they're seeking, which is your money, but they don't partake in it, or they don't practice it. They just get what they need out of you and they move forward. So define help. Define help for yourself. If you just looks at help as just giving someone something, then okay, then always give. Always give and not worry about getting it back. Or you can look at help as into teaching someone something, which is instead of always giving them, maybe teach them how to make money or how to save money, or whatever it is they're trying to learn. It doesn't have to just be money. It could be anything, anything that they're asking help for. If you're the guru, or just say you know specifically how to achieve something, and you want to help, use the trivium. Teach them, and that way they won't need your help. At least not in that fashion, not forever. That's it.